Today's video, I'm showing you how I work through a painting. Now you may recognize the painting. It's from another video where I showed you the end, and I forgot that I had recorded more of this painting. So I'm going to show you how I worked through and made some compositional decisions and changes to what I had started with. I'm Pat from Scrivener Art and Design, and I love sharing my knowledge and helping you on your artistic journey. So originally I had made this side of the painting dark and scratched back into it, but the balance feels wrong, and so I'm coming in with white, covering over it, and I'm going to put more figures alongside these two. So I'm using a bamboo skewer here and just scratching in my shapes. So just simple shapes, and I'm trying to make them various sizes so it stays somewhat interesting. Now I'm coming back in with this catalyst wedge, scraping back to the dark underpainting there for this particular figure. Now this may stay and it may go, but for now I do want some dark in my painting, so I'm going to just scrape it back. And I really like this catalyst wedge with the little cut edge on it. Here you see me using a pottery tool, just doing a little bit more finessing on the figure, and the bamboo skewer coming back in again for some more asemic writing. I do have a video on asemic writing. If you want to take a look at that, I'll leave it in the description below. I'll leave a link to it for you to find. So just doing a little reductive painting here again with this pottery tool. Now you can also get artist color shapers in this form and size. So I'm trying here to use different pencils. I think I ended up using a Markall pencil, just to do a little bit of drawing around my shapes. So there's a lot of different dry media that will work with cold wax and oil. So I'm coming in here with a Neocolor crayon. Again, just adding a little bit of color around the edges, into the form a little bit. This is a pink woody stabilo. So really you just have to experiment with different things that you probably already have and see what will work. So now I'm adding some color into this figure. That lovely turquoise color that just happens to be one of my favorites. So if you put some paint somewhere, you need to connect it elsewhere. So I'm putting a little bit over on this figure as well, just to bring a little bit of that color in. And this painting is still looking very half and half. I've got blues on one side and pinky peaches on the other side, so it's kind of half cool and half warm. So going to have to fix that by mingling the colors both ways here so it doesn't look half and half. Scraping some onto the background area. So now bringing some of the warm color over to the left side of the painting. And this color is fairly transparent, so colors from underneath are showing through. Adding the extra bit that's on my blade just on top of this figure. So now I'm mixing a color that's more coral-like by using that bit of orange and some of my red and white. So it's a little brighter than what was down before, giving a little bit more contrast between those two figures. I'm going to add some onto this other side, just again, to keep the colors going throughout the painting. One of the things I notice a lot with less experienced artists is that they tend not to use enough paint, and I think that the amount of paint you use makes your painting really rich. So I'm using a palette knife, just putting on some more of the pink color in places. With the cold wax and oil, you can build up quite a bit of texture as well. With that being said, you also want some flat areas in your work, so non-textural areas. We really want to be looking at differences and contrasts. That's what makes a painting look interesting, is if there's enough differences. If everything is too similar, there's going to be really nothing to stop us to take a closer look at. So having the contrast, whether it's color contrast, texture versus flat, dark and light, just different contrasting colors. Like in this case, I'm really working with opposites. If you think of orange being opposite to blue on the color wheel, so just coming back in around and adding some more colors, bringing some blue back over this figure. So it's just to keep going and revising, listening to your painting and making those decisions. And then when you get to a certain point, I think it's important to set it aside before you overwork it. It's so easy to overwork things. So I'm liking that lighter color in the background. So when you put a lighter value and then you have darker values, it's going to give the painting a lot more depth. So in this case, it's my figures that are the darker values and standing out front, but this is applicable to a landscape painting as well, that you can create a lot of depth by pushing your colors back and neutralizing colors as well. Before I realized that I had actually recorded this first part of the painting, I had edited and put up the finishing part. So I will also put a link to that so that you can see how I finish it, because it's not in this video. This is just more where I picked up after I had started the painting and came along and started to revise it more. So it's definitely interesting to see me carry on, and I unfortunately put it up in the wrong order. So I will link to that so that you can take a look. And I've decided here to add another figure on the edge, so I didn't have that space. And I'm using the little color shaper type tool, so you can buy an artist color shaper, or in this case it's a pottery tool. I'm just using that to finesse in around the tighter areas. So I'm coming to the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it and that you got something out of it. I would love to hear your comments, and please do go and watch part 2 of this that I had posted up earlier. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to my channel and share it with a friend.